Small businesses can have exponential growth, where big businesses that are already $1 trillion company, good luck doubling your return on that. You can make tweaks here and watch a 50% increase in the next 12 months. Let's even look at the model. This is why the model is so broken. The model's broken because what they say is, number one, you should accumulate. If you accumulate, it's a belief that there's 3 factors that determine your wealth. Number one, I already said it takes money to make money. You heard that, right? Takes money to make money. That's the first notion. So your wealth is how much money can you put away. Number two, they say high risk equals high return. Risk means chance of losing. How does increasing your chance of losing help you win, by the way? Like, what drunken Wall Street idiot came up with that idea? Like, nobody wants to do this investment. Let's just tell them high risk equals high return. That sounds great. What the hell? How does increasing your chance of losing? And by the way, the way that risk works is the less connected you are to understanding the investment, the more risk you take. And the more degrees further away it is from you, the more risk you have. So I believe we all have our own investor DNA. Your investor DNA is your values, which is your script how to operate. It's your competencies. Where are you capable? Where do you have these abilities? And it's your drivers. Where do you have interest and passion? And if we take that investor DNA, it's about focus, not diversification. See, what they want you to do here is they believe that diversification is the way to handle this. That you accumulate by how much money you can put away, how much risk you're willing to take, and then you've probably heard this one, you're in it for the long haul. Who's excited to be in it for the long haul, by the way? When does the long haul end? When you die, and then someone else inherits the long haul. That sounds like a CrossFit workout, the long haul. Like someone's got a wheelbarrow with some bricks in it, and they're just going up a never-ending hill, and it only counts if you post it on Instagram. You know, like that's the long haul. So they tell you accumulate, they tell you to take risk. And by the way, they tell you to invest in things because you don't know how to invest, because you don't have time, because you're busy. And the investments that you should make are probably bonds, stocks, and real estate investment, like something to do with portfolios, right? So this is all portfolios. This is accumulate. This is take risk. This is diversify. And it's always in these funds instead of, so it's always handing our money over. And here's what's crazy about this. They want you to retire by putting money into things that create zero cash flow. And then when you retire, you're going to have to create cash flow from these things, having no practice in doing it. That's insane. And guess what happens to retirees? They retire from the world of value creation, so they're no longer in control of the outcome of their income. The market is. And they have 3 major culprits that rob their wealth. Number one, and retirees felt this recently, inflation. Inflation is confiscating their purchasing power. Number 2, what if interest rates, like, okay, what if you retired 2 years ago, you have money in bonds, interest rates went up. It's the highest drop bonds have had in history in the last 2 years. Oops. Or number 3, what if taxes go up? I don't know if you heard, but like here in the US, they owe $33 trillion. $33 trillion. You know how long it takes to count to a trillion? 32,000 years. I didn't try. Let's Google it, right? Think about it, 32,000 years to count to, and that's if you can remember the number before. Like, this is crazy. You know what was going on 32,000 years ago? Neanderthals, an ice age. Joe Biden was probably just born, you know? That's the oldest dude on the planet right now. My great grandma lived to 103 and she was more spry than him. It's not even political, it's just ageism, okay? It's just ageism at its best. So this is my problem, like accumulate, take risk, diversify, you know, takes money to make money, put money in funds. This is a broken system, and this is how broken it is. 95% of US citizens are not financially independent at age 65. 95%. A 95% failure rate, and people are still doing this. You want to know why they're doing it? Because they've been told that they're not smart enough. And people that went to Ivy League schools will do this for them, but they were trained in value extraction, not value creation. Like when a company goes public, are people going public to raise capital today? Or are they going public to exit their business? To exit the business. When the stock market was created, that's a brilliant, you're like, okay, we have this big idea. How are we going to raise capital for it? We have two options. We can lend and do these bonds, or we can give up equity and do stocks. But now we've got private capital. So everybody's already been funded and have everything they need. And then eventually they're like, cool, we want to go public so that we could take our money off the table. And every single firm that underwrites that or is involved says you should buy. It's a broken system. And look, this is the entrepreneur's way that I'm going to show you here. This is the entrepreneur's way. This is the way, A, that you don't have to feel guilt and shame, that you could do a different system. The first thing is, I want you to accelerate, not accumulate. What do I mean by this? There's three ways you can live within your means, right? The first way you can live within your means is budgeting. But budgeting sucks. Who likes to budget in the room? Just show of hands. One weirdo. We knew you were going to be here. I won't take it away from you. You're also, I figured out, was a serial killer last night. You know, doesn't like dogs, likes budgeting. Very concerned. Very concerned. No, won't take it away from you. But budgeting is about reduction, and nobody shrinks their way to wealth. Production is the name of the game, right? Serve others, solve problems, deliver value. If you get in a mindset of what can I eliminate at the expense of what you can create, that's where the first way that we live within our means is to budget. But there's two other ways to live within our means. Be more efficient within your means. I'm going to use like kind of just US language here for one of these three things, because it just sounds better than me having a different thing. There's 4 I's to efficiency. The first I is the IRS, or whatever fake thing you guys have in Canada, you know, Canada Revenue Service for your loonies and toonies. Like, who names their money loony and toonie? Whoever did. Yeah. So one is IRS. What we found is 98% of entrepreneurs overpay on their taxes. They tip the government. Number 2, the second I is interest. There's 3 R's to help you with interest. Restructure your loans, renegotiate your interest rates, and reallocate your funds. If you're earning 4% on your money and you're paying 8%, pay the loan off. That's 100% improvement. If you can buy something for $4 and sell it for $8, that's 100% markup, right? It's not a 4% spread, it's 100% spread. The third one is investments. A lot of hidden fees, non-performing fees. There's a lot of admin and legal fees and retirement plans. If you earn 9.2% instead of 10 over 30 years, it's an exponential expense. 100 grand grows to 1.74 million in 30 years at 10%. If it gets 9.2%, it grows to 1.4 million. That's a $340,000 difference because of the compounding costs. If there's a thing called compounding interest, it's impacted substantially by the return, but most people think in percentages instead of dollars and cents. The fourth I is insurance. A lot of people have improper structure, duplicate coverages. Here's my simple solution to insurance. Only insure the catastrophic, never the inconsequential. If you can write a check for it today and go to sleep tonight, that's inconsequential. Catastrophic is it harms your legacy, destroys your finances, transfer that risk. So these 4 I's are I's to efficiency: IRS, interest, insurance, and investments. That's going to be putting more money in your pocket. How can you keep more of what you make without painful budgeting? The third way to live within your means: continually expand your means. That's what you're here to do. You grow in value. You add more value. You serve more people. You solve bigger problems. You reach more people. You more deeply impact the people you reach. You do the things you've been learning over the last several days, because it's a value creation game. How can you become a value creator? So here's my philosophy of acceleration. If we just take like any country's output, their gross domestic product, and divide it by their money supply, it gives us something called velocity. Velocity says, how many times do dollars exchange hands? The more times the dollar exchanges hands, the more output. If we say, no, we're going to print more money, guess what? Remember long division? If we add to the denominator, it doesn't increase our output, right? So printing money is just a way to tax the poor, because rich people have assets. They have businesses and they adjust their prices. People that are barely able to make it in ends meet have variable loans. They go up in interest, and now they have to work extra, which puts labor onto the people that are in the worst situation. It's really a travesty. So how do we keep this fixed? How can we say no more money, that you don't have to save more, you don't have to sprint more, but how do we increase the output? Expand your means or be more efficient. It's going to create more velocity. That money comes back into your life. When that comes back into your life, you can pay off loans, you can enhance quality of life, you can grow your business. But here's really the key at the bottom. Rather than retire, because the other model was to retire, I want to show you how to create economic independence. Economic independence is where you have enough cash flow from your assets to cover your expenses. That can come from two main types of assets. I'll show those in a minute. Number one is entrepreneurial-based income, which is income that shows up even if you don't go in, right? Having the right CEO can absolutely allow you to take time off and still make money. The second type is just having asset, like I'll go back to this real quick and show you. So for economic independence, there's the big three. The first one is business. Business is one of the biggest assets that create the most wealth. So if it's a business that you know and understand, you either grow it, acquire it, or whatever, but like you're going to be in the world of actual businesses that you have influence over. The next thing, and this is a huge one, is IP. You're in the game of IP. How can you create IP, whether it's either licensing it, whether it's growing your own business, or whatever? I've got 9 books, that's all IP. I've got digital courses, you guys do, that's IP. Like I'm using it to improve the industry. That's intellectual property, my speech and stuff like that. And then finally, real estate. But I like real estate that I could touch and utilize. I'm not buying big portfolios. Like when I had a lot of real estate, I had to talk to attorneys, bankers, property managers. And I thought, why am I doing this? There's nobody here that I want to have a conversation with, and they're on my calendar. When people bill you by the minute, it's usually not a pleasant situation. So, but this is the new portfolio. This is like stuff that you actually have individual pieces of, and you don't have to have all 3. You might have one. The key is in the middle of this is your investor DNA, because risk isn't in the investment, it's in you, the investor. Do these investments align with who you are? Do you have influence and control? Can you create cash flow? Can you learn from your mistakes? Can you make adjustments along the way? And like small businesses can have exponential growth, where big businesses that are already $1 trillion company, good luck doubling your return on that. You can make tweaks here and watch a 50% increase in the next 12 months. You have more influence over it, but everybody's afraid because they go, your business is risky. I'm here to tell you, what you want to do is transfer business wealth into personal wealth in the most risk mitigated, risk-free fashion. Take your risks in your business, not in your investments that you have no control over. The world is having you take all of your risk in things that you have no idea of whether they're going to work out or not, because people that graduated from Harvard and can pass a test you can't pass are telling you what to do, but at the same time, they don't have your same investor DNA, and they're not who. If you know your sole purpose, if you know your values, your abilities, and your passions, and you bring that to the world in a congruent way, that's how you make money in a way that's fulfilling, and it's 3-dimensional. I only want 3-dimensional investments. 3-dimensional investments are, I get cash flow from them, equity, and I feel fulfilled because I have a degree and connection to the end user and result. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And if you're enjoying these videos, well, there's good news. More where that came from, so go ahead and click through and watch the next video now.